My name is Derek Bramell, and I'm Artistic Director of ACO. Welcome to ACO, Connecting ACO Community. And this program is made possible by a lead gift from Augusta Gross and Leslie Samuels. So thank you so much to them. And thank you to our team over at ACO, Lindsay Working, Stephanie Polonio, of course, Aiden Feldkamp, Jade Jung, and of course, our president, Ed Yim, and our friends over at Christina Jensen PR, especially Aled. Thank you so much, Aled, for getting everything set up. And today, ACO goes south. Oboist ALECIA Lawyer and composer Alejandro Basulto Martinez have collaborated on a new piece, and they're joining us from Houston, Texas. The title of the piece is going to be Remedios para el sueño, sleep remedies in English. So to our audience, please tell us where you're calling in from, where you are and what you're doing. You can use the chat function to do that. And I would suggest that you wear headphones because you will get the absolute best fidelity if you do that. But if you can't wear headphones, don't sweat it. Everything's going to be fine. And it'll sound just beautiful. I'm really happy to have these two excellent musicians with us. So welcome, ALECIA and Alejandro.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, ALECIA. How are you? Where are you?
Great. In Houston, Texas.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle, yes.
Right in the middle. And how hot is it there?
It's about what you said yours is, 90 something. Humid. Good for reeds. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Well, Houston, so Houston has a great music scene. A lot of people don't know as much about it as they know about the scene here in New York, but you are also the artistic director of ROCO.
Yes.
The chamber orchestra. And can you just tell us a quick bit about ROCO?
Absolutely. ROCO, we started it in 2005, and it is a 40-piece professional chamber orchestra. Half the musicians are from all over. We actually smile when we play, which sometimes can be rare in classical music.
Not when you play oboe, though.
Yeah, you can't smile while you play because it sounds bad, but my eyes twinkle a little. So, but we have 26 concerts in different venues, 12 different venues, and we've been broadcasting live for 7 years now for free. And so we've been in the digital space for a long time, and we have 15 years of live performance available for free listening on all streaming platforms. But we just connect to the community, 5 o'clock concerts on Saturday, childcare music education during and after, so parents get date nights. It really is involving all generations and speaking to as many people and voices and including as many voices as we can. We were #1 in women composer programming last year and #2 in composers of color, based on the Institute of Composer Diversity that Rob Deemer had started. So I'm proud to be on that council. And it's just exciting to connect people through the language of music. And it is our language. It's not something between us, but something we communicate with.
Well, speaking of connecting with people, so you and Alejandro worked together on this piece.
Yes.
And Alejandro, you were born in Mexico, correct? Yeah, but you've been living in Houston for years.
Well, for 5 years now, yeah.
And so you've interacted with ROCO, with the orchestra, and now this piece.
Yeah. This is my third collaboration, with ALECIA. The first time I wrote a set of songs. The second time I wrote an orchestra piece. And now this piece for solo.
And is this your first piece for oboe? Yes. Wow. Is there anything you want to say about this piece specifically, or before we hear it?
Yeah, sure. I think that it will be interesting just to tell the audience a little bit about the piece because they might enjoy it a little bit more. So when ALECIA and you guys asked me to write a piece, I wanted to write something somehow related to the pandemic, right? So I read that a lot of people are having nightmares and insomnia and other sleep disorders. So I thought, why not write something about that? I did a little bit of research trying to find out what other artists have done using this topic. That is a very broad topic dreams and sleep disorders and whatnot. So one of the first names I researched was Remedios Varo. There's a Mexican Spanish painter in the surrealist tradition. And I think that we're going to show one of her paintings now. There we go. So that painting is very cool. It's like a character, like a woman feeding the moon. So that's more or less her style. And I thought, well, I can write something that is based on her paintings. But what I did not know is that she also wrote essays and fiction. And none of her writings are published. But I found one that is so cool in a doctoral dissertation that is like a remedy or a recipe to avoid nightmares and to have all sorts of cool dreams. Alicia has the copy of the recollection of all these writings. And I thought, wow, this is like my aha moment. I can write something like this. And I decided to write 4 snake oil kind of musical remedies for sleep disorders, the 4 movements of the piece. So it's insomnia, restless legs, sleep talking, and false awakening. And the title of the piece is Remedios because Remedios Varo, the painter, her name literally means remedies in Spanish.
Yeah, and she's such an interesting character. I mean, I think born in Spain and then Catalonia maybe, and then was after the war fled to Mexico and was involved with Andre Breton and so many interesting figures in Europe. But then lived the rest of her life in Mexico. So
Yeah.
Kind of equally European and Mexican artist.
Yeah, it's a national institution for us. It's a very important artist.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. So in a way, you had 2 collaborations, one with this great artist figure from the past, and then with a great soloist of the present.
Of course.
Alicia, is there anything you wanted to say about the work before?
No, just that there's tongue-in-cheek recipes for how to dream certain things, like how to dream you're king of England. You have to do all this stuff with eggs, and it's really funny. But I really am so impressed with this piece. I promise it's going to become part of the oboe canon. It is so wonderful. And he based it, I know, on a lot of things, and we can talk afterward about it more. But, we've got the 6 metamorphoses from Britain. We have the 5 pieces from Dorati. Now we have the 4 pieces from Basulto. So we're just kind of going down that. And I really do feel like it's going to be something pretty powerful it makes me smile, but kind of in a sense of shared cheekiness. But there's kind of everything in this, which is really special. And you need a reed that does everything. I'll just say that out loud. So.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for both of you for being part of this. And we're really excited to hear the world premiere of this new work, Remedios para el Sueño, Sleep Remedies.
The first movement is Remedio para el Insomnio, Remedy for Insomnia. The next one is Remedio para las piernas inquietos. Remedy for restless legs that I know we've all had through this pandemic. This is Remedio para el hablar nocturno, remedy for sleep talking. Remedio para el falso despertar. Remedy for false awakenings. Seems to be happening to me all the time. Now you're all asleep. Has anybody left? Are you all asleep now?
Brava, Alicia.
That's a
Wow,
workout.
that's no small feat to play a long piece for solo. Well, not as
Thank
long
you.
as it could be, but on as and it's that's a big feat. I know because being a clarinetist myself, to play for that long on a woodwind instrument, it's not so easy to play nonstop. Not quite like playing a Bach cello suite.
It's not lips so much as sometimes you get stuck with your breath. You got in and you need to blow out because you're getting dizzy with the carbon dioxide.
Well, oboe definitely uses a lot of hot air,
Nice.
even
I'll take
even
that
more
nicely.
even more than clarinet.
You're a good friend,
There's
but
a lot of people who are who've been calling in, or I don't know what you call it, logging on from all over the country, from Houston, of course, from Philly, even from Jersey, from the Bronx, and our president Ed Yim wrote in a question for you. He's reading 100 Years of Solitude, Alejandro, and he mentioned that Of course, we know in that story that the whole village is affected by insomnia. And there's a character actually whose name is Remedios. So were you making reference to that at all, or?
I completely forgot about that. I read Ed's comment, and I thought, oh my God, maybe that's my subconscious. I read that book, I don't know, 20 years ago. It's a masterpiece, but I completely forgot about that. So, I'm glad that this came together as well. I don't know.
Yeah. Alicia was also asked, how do you do what you do? How do you run an orchestra full-time? This is Ed asking again, and practice. I think maybe he wants to learn oboe. That's why he wants to know.
We can do some lessons. I'm not teaching you reed making. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's ruthless prioritization, especially when you have kids. You start to learn that the 10 minutes you have, you can get a lot done in practicing, and you just isolate. I mean, I will just say now that it's over, Alejandro, that is a really difficult piece, okay? I didn't complain about it while you wrote it, but I mean, it's just hard to make it sound really elegant and cute and whimsical. And what's so much fun, though, is I love valuing living composers, as you know, because Derek, you've written stuff for us and you're going to do some more. But you can't Zoom with Beethoven, and you can't text Beethoven and say, hey, and plus if I did this to Beethoven, he'd probably scream at me, but I was like, Alejandro, would you consider trying this? And we just had this amazing back and forth of creating the piece. I mean, he created this, I think it's a masterful piece. I think that what I love about it the most is that I'm not done with it. Like it's not that I didn't play things right, or I just want to keep exploring it because there's a lot more I think there and worthy. Like that perpetual motion, that, waltz perpetual motion, or that memories one, the slow one that had the children's, it's kind of like your memories keep switching back and forth on you. And there's just so much there that I would like to keep exploring, and we'll definitely be programming.
Did you have a creative contribution to this piece? Would you say?
I would say so. Yeah.
Tell us.
Well, I have worked with different type of performer. There's the ones that just let you do whatever you want and never say anything. I honestly prefer to get some input because I don't play the oboe. And I don't know, she sometimes just was telling me, I don't know, have you considered this or that? And that maybe change a complete phrase, a tiny thing, a tiny detail. And I love that. It was a very cool experiment. Even though we never had a real meeting, it was everything through messages. And
And I should say, the audience, if you have any questions to ask, since you can't ask Beethoven, you can ask Alejandro, second best, and he's here. So if you have questions about the piece, or if you want to ask Alicia anything about breath control or making reeds or anything. You said you won't answer questions about reeds. I don't remember. Or if you want to know anything more about Remedios Varo, or anything you at all, put it in the chat and ask us. So, Alicia, just one other question for you. We met at Banff many years ago, and I won't say how many. But how has it been for you during this period? Have you been busy? Have you been reading books? Have you been? Are you just so busy learning new work, playing, making new programs?
Well, I didn't read this one that much because that was a little odd, but it had some really fun stuff in it. Roco's busier than we've ever been. Every person there is doing twice as much work. We've already been, like I said, in the digital space so long that we've pushed through in the summer and reshared all of our programming. We're definitely going to be doing our performances. We're going to be doing them to an empty hall because our budget is such that it's very heavily reliant on donors and not on ticket sales. So we can do a performance without selling tickets and still hit our bottom line. So that's something we're definitely doing, and just planning for that and the virtual gala. What's so fun for me though is the exploration of the technology. I mean, not innovation for innovation's sake, but innovation to continue the connection. That's what I'm passionate about. And this guy Chris Chaffee at Stanford kind of coming up with new technology for latency issues on remote performance. Trying to find ways to do a gala that is completely personal and not just something you're yet again watching. And so really just trying to find that and getting, frankly, very comfortable with a camera in your face as a musician and starting to talk about that. That's nothing in our wheelhouse that we're ever taught. And I think there's a whole new realm. Frankly, I find it a great thing that we're shaking it up.
Wonderful.
The programming next year so many living composers. We hit, and all of we hit 100 world premieres last season. And it's so exciting to have that in the dialogue, people living now who are in the dialogue. And that's the most thing to me.
Well, we're all in this together doing this. Alejandro, I wanted to tell you, as a clarinetist, I really appreciated the kind of writing that you were doing, because just like in a Bach suite, like in that first movement, you almost always have layers of counterpoint, and you're obviously a melody guy. You love melodies, which
do.
makes it great to write for an instrument like oboe, because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a beautiful lyrical instrument. What do you love about the oboe, if anything? I'm sure you must love something. Tell us.
Well, the oboe is a very special instrument. It's my favorite orchestral color. When when I'm writing an orchestral piece it usually has something important for the oboe. And also in this case that I have worked with the oboist before, I have worked with Alicia before, I have a specific oboe sound in my head. So I try to showcase that, not just what I think about writing for oboe, but also what I think about the way Alicia plays. So I don't know. It was, in that sense, was super cool because I have a very specific sound in my head.
Yeah, you're writing really for an oboist, more than for oboe.
That's correct.
Everything Rocco does is personal. Everything I've ever wanted to do is personal. I mean, you and me out in Banff, Derek, I mean, one time I played for you, play without the reed, and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And now you're this amazing.
I think it went right into my woodwind quintet.
No, I'm just kidding. But I just love the fact that everything, I kind of said in my head, this was the everything bagel spice, because it's got everything, but not like throwing it all in, but just crafting it in a way. Like I got to do that blues note, and then, just, when does an oboist get to do that? It's so fun.
Yeah, so, blue oboe. It could be a new thing. And you're Alejandro, you're also a conductor as well, right? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah. So you're kind of also a man of many talents, wearing different hats like Alicia.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say as Alicia, because I think that all of us were impressed. I don't know if she gets any sleep or anything, but maybe with these pieces, but I'm trying.
This is her remedy.
Yeah. I'm doing a doctoral degree in conducting at the University of Houston, and I'm trying to keep myself busy and conducting, writing, trying to do every kind of stuff that I could.
Well, bravo. I mean, of course, Mexico has a great tradition in classical music. So many great composers today, yesterday, and so it really merges and mixes with the American tradition. So I felt that in your music too, that there was an element of both, and so we're so happy. If I don't know if there's any other last minute questions, but if not, we'll say thank you to both of you, and up there has come a way to support ACO. Terrific. But thank you both so much for keeping art alive and healthy during this time. Not everything is alive and healthy, as you know, but art is. And thanks for bringing Houston. Thanks for bringing Houston right to us on the screen. And of course, you can go to Rocco's website also to learn more about what they do. You can support ACO at the link that's there on your banner. And so we have now finished Volume 2. Thank you both so much. Next week we're off, but we're going to start right in on week 3, featuring, among others, the virtuoso cellist and conductor Eric Jacobson, who has his own orchestra, and the diva extraordinaire Aoife O'Donovan, who are going to be performing a new work by Tanner Porter. So we're very excited for Volume 3, which is going to start up. And for more information, we're not exactly sure of which day, but you can check the ACO website, which will tell you the information about the upcoming schedule. So you can learn more about all the works on Connecting ACO Community, and you can watch this again by going to Music on the Rebound, and it'll be up on YouTube. So you can tell all your friends, and they can hear Alejandro and Alicia perform to their delight, everlasting delight on YouTube. everything, I guess, ends up on YouTube forever, I suppose.
So frightening.
So thank you both so much for joining us.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
And let me just see
right?
if there's just a lot of people saying thank you. Okay, I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
I just wanted to say that there's a lot of people that are tuning in that probably don't speak English. So to them, muchas gracias por escuchar la pieza y muchas gracias por acompañarnos.
Muchas gracias por las personas en México y gracias, los dos. Chao.
Bye, guys.